Most men walk blindly through life, weak, unsure, reactive, because nobody ever taught them the ruthless truths required to survive in a world designed to break the unprepared. Today, we solve that problem. In the next 40 minutes, I will reveal the brutal lessons your father never taught you. But life will punish you for ignoring. Listen closely, because this is the first truth your father never taught you, and perhaps the most important one you will ever hear. Power is never handed to you out of generosity, compassion, or fairness. Power is seized, power is captured. Power is taken by those who are bold enough to reach for it when everyone else is still hesitating. The world you live in does not reward the polite, the quiet, or the obedient. It rewards the man who steps forward when others step back. The man who moves first while everyone else waits for permission. The man who claims what he believes is his long before anyone else realizes it was even available. From the moment you enter this world, you are placed into a hierarchy, whether you see it or not. Some rise, some fall, and most simply remain where they are placed. But understand this, the position you were born into was never meant to define you. It was meant to be challenged, overthrown, rewritten. Yet most people accept their place because they believe someone someday will give them an opportunity. They wait for approval. They wait for recognition. They wait for life to magically notice them, and in that waiting, they slowly become powerless. I speak to you now with the harsh clarity of Machiavelli himself. No one will ever come to hand you authority. No one will step aside and say, "Here, take my position." No one will willingly surrender advantage, status, influence, or control. Why would they? Humans cling to power with the same desperation as a drowning man clings to air. And if you wish to rise, you must understand that the world functions on competition, not fairness, on strategy, not kindness, on initiative, not luck. When you walk through life expecting things to arrive at your feet simply because you are a good person, you become prey to those who understand the game. Because while you hesitate, someone else is already moving. While you hope, someone else is planning. While you wait for permission, someone else has already built their throne. The difference between the powerful and the powerless is never talent. It is always initiative. The powerful act before they are ready. They enter rooms without waiting to be invited. They speak when others stay silent. They ask for what they want, even at the risk of being refused. They push boundaries, test limits, and take the kinds of risks the average man is too afraid to take. And let me tell you something many will never admit. Those who hold power respect only those who pursue it. They do not respect the passive. They do not reward the hesitant. They do not elevate those who shrink themselves to appear humble. They admire, fear, and acknowledge only those who demonstrate the courage to challenge the structure itself. When you begin to take control of your life, people will resist you at first. They will push back. They will question your ambition, criticize your confidence, and attempt to shame your desire for more. Not because you are wrong, but because your movement threatens the stability of their own position. The moment you begin to rise, you expose the fact that they remain still. The moment you demand more, you highlight that they settled for less. And the world hates being reminded of its own stagnation. But hear this clearly, if you want power, you cannot fear resistance. You cannot fear discomfort. You cannot fear conflict. You cannot fear being disliked. These are the natural costs of stepping into your strength. The man who tries to be loved by everyone becomes a servant to everyone. The man who seeks control becomes respected by all, even those who resent him. Power begins internally, long before it manifests externally. It starts with a decision that you are done waiting, done hoping, done depending on others to lift you into the life you want. It begins when you choose to stop apologizing for wanting more, when you stop minimizing your potential, when you stop negotiating with your limitations. Only then do you become the type of man who takes charge of his environment instead of being shaped by it. If there is one battlefield most men lose before they ever step into the real world, It is the battlefield within themselves. And the tragedy is that no one ever warned them. No one told them that their greatest enemy would never be another man, another challenge, or another failure. Their greatest enemy would be their own emotions, unchecked, undisciplined, and allowed to run wild. You are never taught this, but you must hear it now with absolute seriousness. If you do not control your emotions will control your fate. There is nothing more dangerous than a man who feels deeply yet lacks the discipline to guide those feelings. Emotions can cloud judgment, distort perception, and push you into decisions you will spend years regretting. Anger can make you speak too soon. Fear can make you withdraw too early. Impulse can make you trust the wrong person. Pride can make you stay in situations long after you should have left. And the world will not soften itself simply because you didn't know how to handle what you felt. Understand this truth. The world judges your actions, not your emotions. No one cares about the storm inside you if the bridge you destroy because of it leads to your own downfall. No one excuses the damage you cause because you were emotional. Emotions may be natural, but they are not excuses. They do not justify weakness. They do not justify surrender. They must be governed, mastered, and used with precision like tools of power. A man who can govern his emotions becomes something rare. He becomes steady in chaos, calm under pressure, and dangerous in conflict. Others lose themselves in panic, but he remains centered. Others crumble when insulted, but he stands unmoved. Others overreact, but he observes, calculates, and chooses the most strategic response. The controlled man becomes a weapon, while the uncontrolled man becomes a warning. Think about how easily people can be manipulated simply by pulling on their emotional strings. Anger can provoke them. Flattery can blind them. Fear can stop them. Validation can trap them. Most people walk through life as predictable machines. Push this button and they react. Pull this lever and they obey. They are ruled not by logic, not by strategy, but by whatever emotion happens to rise in them at the moment. And this, precisely, is why they never rise to dominance. How can you build an unshakable life when your internal world is inconsistent, chaotic, and easily influenced? Control does not mean suppression. It does not mean you become numb or emotionless. It means you recognize the emotion but refuse to be directed by it. It means you feel the impulse but choose the action. It means you acknowledge the fear but still step forward. A controlled man is not cold. He is powerful because he knows that emotions are signals, not commands. When you master your emotions, you also master how the world perceives you. You become unreadable to your enemies. You become respectable to your allies. You become reliable to those who rely on you. The man who can stay calm while others crumble becomes the natural leader in every room he enters. People trust the man who does not lose himself when life becomes harsh. People follow the man who remains clear-minded while others fall into chaos. But emotional control does something even more profound. It frees you. It frees you from reacting to every insult, every setback, every disappointment. It frees you from the need to be liked, the need to be validated, the need to be understood. It frees you from the chains of impulsive decisions. It frees you from sabotaging your own future because of temporary feelings. Imagine how your life would change if anger never dictated your words, if fear never dictated your choices, if sadness never dictated your self-worth. Imagine the power of being able to face betrayal, rejection, failure, or uncertainty, not with collapse, but with clarity. Imagine becoming the kind of man who cannot be provoked, cannot be manipulated, cannot be thrown off his path by emotional turbulence. That level of control is not merely discipline. It is liberation. There is a lesson the world quietly teaches you through disappointment, betrayal, and neglect, but very few fathers ever speak it aloud. People do not respect your kindness, your softness, or your good intentions. They respect your strength, they respect your competence, they respect what you can produce, protect, and provide. Everything else is decoration. Everything else is noise. You may believe that being a good person will naturally earn you appreciation. You may believe that loyalty, honesty, or generosity will make people stand by you. But life quickly reveals a harsh contradiction. You can give your best to someone, and they will still walk away. You can be reliable, and they will still overlook you. You can sacrifice for others, and they will still choose someone stronger, louder, or more assertive. Not because you weren't good enough morally, but because you weren't strong enough practically. This truth is uncomfortable, but it is the gateway to power. The world notices results, not intentions. A man with good intentions but no strength is like a shield made of paper. Nice to look at, but useless when the arrows start flying. Kindness matters, yes, but only when backed by capability. Compassion has value, yes, but only when supported by confidence. Without strength, your good intentions become a vulnerability, something others exploit rather than admire. People respect what you can enforce, not what you can explain. They respect the man who sets boundaries and defends them, not the man who constantly forgives disrespect. They respect the man who walks away from chaos, not the man who begs for peace. They respect the man who demands value for his time, not the man who gives it freely to everyone. Strength is the language the world listens to. Without it, you speak in whispers that no one hears. You've seen this play out in your own life. Maybe you've been too nice and people took advantage. Maybe you've been patient and people mistook it for weakness. Maybe you reduced your expectations, hoping to keep someone around, only to watch them distance themselves anyway. These moments were not punishments. They were lessons. Lessons that revealed a simple pattern. The world does not reward the gentle unless they are also formidable. Think of the people you admire, the leaders, the mentors, the giants of history. Their goodness, if they had it, was respected only because it was carried by strength. A kind man without strength is ignored. A kind man with strength is admired. A powerful man who chooses kindness is seen as noble. A powerless man who chooses kindness is seen as harmless. That is the difference. To be respected, you must develop the qualities that command respect. Discipline, assertiveness, presence, knowledge, confidence. A strong back, a sharp mind, a composed spirit. You don't need to be aggressive, but you must be unshakable. You don't need to dominate others, but you must dominate yourself. You must become someone whose words carry weight not because they are beautiful, but because they are backed by the force of your actions. When you speak from strength, people listen differently. When you stand firm in your boundaries, people adjust. When you negotiate with clarity and confidence, people comply. When you stop chasing acknowledgement, acknowledgement starts chasing you. Respect is not something you request. It is something you become. But strength is not just physical or financial. It is emotional strength, the ability to regulate your reactions. It is mental strength, the discipline to stay consistent. It is social strength, the ability to hold yourself with dignity. It is spiritual strength, the conviction to stand for something. And most importantly, it is the refusal to let the world mold you into someone smaller than you were meant to be. Your intentions may be pure, your heart may be golden, but without strength, you will be overlooked. With strength, even your silence becomes influence. With strength, even your presence becomes authority. With strength, even your kindness becomes a choice rather than a weakness. There comes a point in every man's life where he realizes that brute force, loud declarations, and emotional outbursts will never win battles that require calculation, patience, and precision. Strength is not only measured by how loudly you roar, but by how quietly you move. And this is the fourth truth your father likely never taught you. A strong life is built on silence, on strategy, and yes, on selective cruelty. Because survival does not belong to the blindly compassionate, but to the disciplined and intentional. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not retreat. Silence is power waiting for the right moment to strike. Most men reveal their intentions too quickly. They speak their plans before they are ready. They share their dreams with the wrong audience. They expose their insecurities in moments of frustration. And every time they do, they hand a piece of their power to someone else. Silence protects your direction, protects your identity, protects your future. Silence keeps others guessing, keeps your enemies confused, and keeps your momentum safe from sabotage. A man who learns the art of silence becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability is the greatest shield in a world hungry for advantage. But silence alone is not enough. You must pair it with strategy, because a quiet life without direction is nothing more than passive existence. Strategy is what separates intentional living from accidental survival. It is the mindset that forces you to think beyond the moment, beyond the emotion, beyond the temporary satisfaction. Strategy asks questions such as, what does this decision lead to? Who does this benefit? How does this position me 6 months from now? What advantage does this create or destroy? A man with strategy does not react. He anticipates. He does not rush. He calculates. He does not gamble. He positions himself where winning becomes the natural outcome. Strategy is the backbone of long-term power. Without it, you become a pawn in someone else's game, moved not by purpose but by circumstance. With it, you become the one moving the pieces. And then, there is the part most men fear to acknowledge, selective cruelty. Not cruelty born of malice or ego, but cruelty born of necessity. Cruelty in the form of saying no when others expect you to say yes. Cruelty in the form of walking away from people you love when they refuse to grow. Cruelty in the form of cutting off access to those who drain your energy, waste your time, or sabotage your progress. Cruelty in the form of protecting your ambitions even when it disappoints others. Sometimes, being a good man requires making decisions that look cruel on the surface, but are essential for the preservation of your future. Life will demand that you become ruthless in choosing what stays in your life, ruthless in enforcing your standards, ruthless in cutting ties with things that keep you small. Selective cruelty is not about harming others. It is about refusing to harm yourself by tolerating what destroys your potential. It is the realization that you cannot save everyone without losing yourself. It is the understanding that you cannot pour endlessly without becoming empty. Combine silence with strategy and selective cruelty, and you become a man of depth, a man whose moves are deliberate, whose presence carries weight, whose decisions shape his destiny rather than letting fate shape him. You become someone who is not swayed by opinions, not manipulated by emotion, not softened by validation. You become someone who can walk away from comfort and step willingly into discomfort if it leads to strength. You become someone who is respected not because you chase respect, but because you command it through discipline and clarity. A strong life is never built accidentally. It is the result of choices that appear cold from the outside, but are necessary from the inside. Choices that reflect a deep understanding of human nature. Choices that protect your peace, your time, your reputation, and your mission. Silence sharpens your mind. Strategy sharpens your path. Selective cruelty sharpens your boundaries. Together, they sharpen you into someone who cannot be easily shaken, manipulated, or defeated. And now you stand here, armed with the truths most men go their entire lives without learning. You have seen how power is never given, how emotions can command your destiny if left unchecked, how strength not good intentions, shapes the respect you receive, and how silence, strategy, and selective cruelty carve out a life that cannot be easily invaded or destroyed. These are not gentle lessons. They were never meant to be. They are the foundations of survival in a world ruled by ambition, competition, and human nature. Understand that none of this transformation will happen in a moment. You do not become powerful overnight. You do not master your emotions after a single decision. You do not build respect, discipline, and strategic control in one attempt. This is the work of a lifetime, a continuous sharpening, a continuous refining, a continuous rise into the man you are capable of becoming. But the advantage you now have is awareness, awareness of the battlefield, awareness of the rules, awareness of the game you were born into, whether you chose it or not. Most men walk blindly. You no longer have that luxury. You know now that your future depends on the strength you cultivate, the decisions you enforce, and the standards you refuse to lower. You know that people will treat you exactly how you allow them to. You know that the world bends only to those who have the courage to push. And you know that the man who understands himself, his emotions, his weaknesses, his potential, cannot be easily controlled by anyone else. So take these lessons and begin. Begin by acting with intention. Begin by speaking less and observing more. Begin by protecting your time, your energy, and your purpose. Begin by enforcing boundaries with quiet certainty. Begin by strengthening your mind, your body, and your discipline. Begin by taking the throne of your own life, one decisive action at a time. Because once you do, once you rise into the man defined not by circumstances, but by dominance over them, you will finally look back and realize that this version of you was always there, waiting to be unleashed.